Next, I'm delighted to introduce David Pinker. David is business manager at Green Eco Technologies. We were delighted to present Green Eco Technologies with the New South Wales Sustainability Award late last year. And David is going to be essentially talking about what they've been doing in different locations around Australia. David, if you're happy to share your slides now.
I'll do that. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Susie. Just make sure that's in presentation mode.
Thank you. We can see that loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. So we're sort of at the end of the process that of what is hopefully unavoidable food waste. We're an Australian company and we've developed a technology we call WasteMaster, where we can process food waste on site, reduce it to a manageable substance that can be recycled. We've now a global presence with offices in the UK, UAE, and 3 in Australia, and units around the world. We have here 4 of the STGs that we think we can be involved in. If you ask my CEO, he'd probably say there's 12, but we'll stick with that 4 there. Our units are very simple to use, 1 button operation. It offloads itself. You don't need to lift bins, so there's no manual handling. It can be a continuous load or a batch load, depending on how that process works. We monitor the units remotely 24/7, and our residue is dry. It's reduced by about 80% of the original volume, so it can be stored and removed when required rather than a daily pickup. There are 3 different models that we have in the range at the moment. It all depends on volume. Very tolerant in the type of food waste that they can take. So pineapple heads, shellfish, avocado pips, tea bags and coffee grinds, compostable packaging. We try and make life easy for our clients by keeping it to a simple monthly managed service that covers not only the hardware, but also the bins, the service and the collection. We have some very good clients, as you can see on our list there, and also some great partnerships. And the case study that we used for the Banksia Awards when I met Robin was for the Four Seasons Hotel in Sydney. The biggest benefit I think we found, or the most startling thing we found at Four Seasons, was that although they did have an organic collection, and they could measure that they were having 260 or going 260 kilos of food waste a day, once we did the education through the kitchen staff, we realised that they were doing more than double that, still going to general waste, and then obviously off to landfill. So apart from the benefits of diverting that food waste to landfill, we actually had a great potential for reducing greenhouse gases as well. So one of the things that is important when we do educate our clients is that everyone seems to want to do the right thing, but not everyone seems to know how or are prepared to make a change. But we need to be sure, or needs to be known, that the status quo isn't always the best and isn't always the cheapest. And apart from being at the end of the process with food waste, we've also partnered with a great business called Lumitics that use some artificial intelligence to measure what food waste is being wasted, and very clever in how it reports, and how how it measures and helps executive chefs and various people on reducing their costs, so that we're not wasting too much at the front. So thank you very much.
Thank you, David. That was amazing, and good to hear more about WasteMaster. I'm going to waste one of my Dorothy Dixer questions and say one of the favourite things that I discovered is where are the WasteMaster systems made, David?
Oh, very good. I probably skipped over that, but they're made in New South Wales in Albury. So our head office is in Melbourne, manufacturing in Albury. So our office in Sydney, Melbourne, and in Perth.
So you're manufacturing in Albury and then sending them around Australia and also around the world?
Yes, we've just become a finalist for the Australian Export Awards, which will be named in November. But our Melbourne head office took that as in the Victorian section, even though Albury's on the other side of the Murray.
Thank you, and good to hear about the partnership with Lumetics. I think we'll hear a bit more as we go on from people like Chris and Raquel about essentially, where the focus needs to be, because I think waste management is part of that, but we also need to look at what it is that we're wasting, and that's why I think that partnership looks at, if we're wasting one stream in particular, how do we correct that? Do we need to be putting quite so many things out there? So. Thank you for that great presentation, and please do stick around, everyone, for questions at the end.